profesora de inglés y hoy vamos a asistir al debate que venimos celebrando cada año en inglés aquí en la biblioteca pública. Como siempre, los alumnos son los que eligen el tema del que van a hablar y preparan pues, sus diapositivas y se lo preparan todo, hasta los equipos, los han decidido ellos. Este año van a hablar acerca de los robots. Primero nos dirán lo que es un robot para ellos y bueno, hablarán un equipo a favor, el otro en contra. Siendo el tema, ¿los robots aumentarán nuestra calidad de vida? Al final del debate os pedirán participación. Entonces solo tenéis que levantar la mano si estáis a favor o si estáis en contra. Ellos contarán y dirán el resultado. Este debate se retransmite en Canal 4 por YouTube en directo y aparte por streaming, o sea que lo podéis ver luego en diferido. Como es en inglés, lo suyo es que también lo presente en inglés. Así que empezamos. Will robots increase people's quality of life? We have two teams, boys and girls. Boys are going to speak in favor, and we have Oscar González, David Moral, Víctor Peña, and the girls are going to speak against. Miriam Ibáñez, Sara Fernández, and Marina González. At the end of the debate, they will ask for your opinion. So please raise your hands when they ask you. A loud applause for them.
What are robots in your opinion, Oscar?
Robots are programmable machines capable of performing different tasks, which are usually heavy or dangerous.
A robot could have lots of different forms, like factory robots that only have an arm, or waiter robots that are human-like.
A robot can do all the tasks you want him to do, like making your food, sweeping, or scrubbing the floor. They can also answer any question you have. What is a robot in your opinion?
For me, a robot is a machine which can make our lives easier by helping us produce cars, washing machines, or any other machine that we use in our daily lives. Robots are very useful in industries.
As I see it, a robot is a machine with human beings made to help people do different tasks. These machines are made using new technology, and they are useful for different tasks, such as cooking, cleaning, or building things. It is said that robots are the new future, so we have to learn how to live with them.
For me, robots are machines capable of performing different tasks that humans are not able to do due to our conditions. Nowadays, we find robots everywhere, in the kitchen, in factories, and one of the most important uses is for government applications. Robots are used for our own safety and for safety of others. These machines can be considered as military weapons used in wars, but there are also other types of robots for governmental purposes, such as space robots used by NASA to do research. But are we able to put our safety in hands of robots? What problems can their manufacture cause? Will robots increase people's quality of life?
If you buy a robot, you will not have to sweep or mop anymore, as such things are done by these machines. They can also help elder people or people who have difficulties moving around. These automatons help people get out of bed. They can also prepare a marvelous food. They can accompany the elderly, who in this way may stop feeling alone. Moreover, they remind people to do things they must do, but that they forget to do. For example, reminding an individual when to take the pills, or what they are. In this way, we will stop being forgetful. Nowadays, we care a lot about renewable energy, and these machines use this type of energy. As everybody, including robot production companies, know that being environmentally concerned will increase the sales, and as a result, their profits will skyrocket. They make good use of this information and produce all the robots with the latest technology and being environmentally friendly. Another consequence of using renewable energy is that it for sure could lead us to spend much less on producing energy. Consequently, the planet will not be as polluted as it is currently, because we won't use conventional fuels such as coal, which contaminates a lot more than other renewable resources. With this, not only the companies that manufacture this clean energy, but also the average users will do their bit to to help the planet to become a less polluted place. David, how can robots help to the basic people?
Since a robot is a machine, they have several advantages such as not having to stop for a break or to eat. In addition, they don't need to be paid a salary, and obviously they don't need to be fed either. They only use energy. Whether it is better or not to be fed using food or energy is another matter. This is a win-win. Whether to buy a robot instead of paying a salary to a human being would be out of question because a lot of money would be saved. Undoubtedly, this money-saving technique will allow big companies to industrialize in a very short time, and we all will advance to a better future. So, is that a better future for real? The results don't seem to show that. Figures show an increase in pollution. Why not use renewable energies for these robots? If you run a company as a manager or owner, you will be able to save a lot of money that you could invest in other improvements to make your company more competitive and environmentally friendly. For instance, you can invest in cutting-edge technology or maybe in improving the security of your factories. Another field in which this money can be spent is in eco-friendly machines, which will be good for the environment. In the long term, these things will help everybody. Vacations. If you are a business person, you won't have to pay your workers and they aren't doing anything. Meal breaks. Robots won't take meal breaks because they won't need to eat, and they will not stop working. To arrive late at the work. They can't arrive late because they will already be in their workplace. They can go anywhere. These are not programmable machines that you are not going to sustain. Robots do not need to go on vacations because they are made to work and help us in our everyday duties. The only necessary thing is to charge the battery or repair any malfunction. And we could use it for doing things that the human can't, like exploring the deepest seas, because they don't need to breathe and have no trouble with water pressure. This could be a start. We can go exploring the seas, and with technology breakthroughs, robots will be able to discover new species of animals, plants, and even new deposits in unexplored habitats. Just a few months ago, in China, a group of robots managed by a couple of scientists discovered a dinosaur egg that belonged to a new species unknown until now. Can you imagine what would happen and be discovered if robots were included in all the research's plans? Oscar, can they help us in our intellectual work?
Yes, they can give us any type of information with only a question. We have a very fast access to information, so our education or job is much easier, and to access anything you need becomes faster. For example, Roomba or Alexa. You can get all the answers you need with just an order. Robots can think a lot faster than humans. This can reduce human failures. It improves the decision-making timing, and it can also improve the quality of work done. Robots keep moving, which means they will be able to do more things in a faster way. For this reason, we need the new generations to be familiar with how to use robots and interact in an average way. To make children know how to deal with robots, youngest in school start studying robotics and programming from an early age. This helps young people to be prepared for the future and have successful professional careers, as they know how to deal with robots or program and fix them. It is really interesting for youngest to be interested in technology and software from an early age, having their first contact with this kind of machines in a fun way. They see it as a game. Machines can't get sick. People sometimes get ill and can't go to school or to work for a few days, but this doesn't happen with robots. They can take a sick day, because they are always in good health, and they can work with no breaks, no days off, and no holidays. For example, in a 2014 USA study, it was found that each robot performs the work of 6.2 employees, who are unskilled workers that perform repetitive tasks, usually in production lines and in the textile industry. Robots are also capable of working in difficult environments. For example, the robot that defuse bombs or perform surgeries. We spoke in favor. Now is the time for the other team.
If the robot is not correctly programmed, it could become violent against you or the things you have in your house. or even if you have a bet against it. Robots can do things they shouldn't due to poor programming. By instance, it can throw things at you, and as a consequence, you may get hurt. Imagine it throws a fork or knife at you. Thought it doesn't need to be sharp to get harmed. If you are hit by an orange or a plate, you may be injured too. Robots are clearly much faster than humans. For this reason, they are very beneficial for industries. So robots may become a threat, not only because they can be a cause of unemployment, but also because they could increase poverty in the world. Industries want fast production because that means higher benefits and much money. As a consequence, people are being replaced by robots because these machines give better results than humans. On the one hand, robots have a lot of advantages, as the other team mentioned. They work for free, don't need to rest, and don't have a family to take care of, while humans need to eat, need holidays, and have a family to support. But are these facts drawbacks? I don't think so. These make people human beings, and because of that, we can understand each other. If a workmate has a problem, we can put ourselves in the other's place. We help each other and we are empathic. Feelings are really important, and this is something that robots lack. A very clear example of the unemployment caused by robots is what is happening in Amazon. Many robots work at Amazon, and what the company is doing is hiding the dangers that robots can have, because robots give much more production. Robots are able to do almost all kinds of jobs. What will we humans do? Maybe we will have much more free time due to the fact that they will do all the housework or other different tedious tasks for us. But if this happens, people will become lazy. Thought if humans beings take power and do not become idle. We'll have to work to be productive, but we will only work in our jobs as robots could do all the housework. This could be a balanced way of taking advantage of robots. Do you think we have to keep staying active?
We must continue doing activities as active people we are to avoid becoming lazy, unless we keep exercising and doing our daily tasks. We will be taking another risk, and I say the risk because we can end up fat with mobility uses. We need to continue doing activities in our homes, like cooking, doing the washing up, or vacuuming the carpet. Everything, including robots, can break, and if this happens, you have to spend an important amount of money to fix it. That is a disadvantage because the pieces are too expensive, in many cases due to where they are produced. To cap it all, during the time that the robot is out of service, you are not able to continue with the things it did. But as it is, imagine that this happens in a company. The losses a day would be enormous. The big problem arises when we need some spare parts for our robot, because let's say some spare parts are broken. According with the recent situation we've been through, COVID and subsequent lockdown, we have become familiar with this kind of problems. There were problems with placing orders to get the replacements, and it took longer to get bringing the orders. Sometimes it was extremely difficult to find spare parts, because not all companies exported the products to other countries. As a result, the orders took ages to arrive to their destinations. Can robots put in danger our safety?
There has been many serious attacks on companies such as PlayStation in 2011, Citibank, Target in 2013, and one of the most recent attacks was on the Ukrainian government in 2022. That endanger many personal citizens' data and government data. These are now the problems that we all suffer due to the trust we put in robots. Sadly, as it may be, this shows us that anyone with good computer skills could put at risk millions of people. Thus, one of the most important issues is the data related to the weapons used by its government, which can be hacked and used against people, such as the Hiroshima bomb. Also, cybersecurity was not so advanced at that time. People had no problem in using that bomb and killing more than 200,000 human beings, without mentioning the innumerable material losses. So, we should stop to think if we should rely 100% on robots. Pollution. Today, everyone knows that we have a global pollution problem, and it is one of the biggest problems in the world. Machines consume a lot of energy and contaminate a lot. Robots production is not the only source of environmental contamination, but it is in the third place. They generate about 285 tons of carbon dioxide per year, equivalent to those produced by 100 Spaniards in a year. And not only does their production generate carbon dioxide, but also produce about 300 tons in several different factories. But one of the problems that most worries us today is the space debris generated by rockets and space satellites. This happens because the fragments of the machines that have been discarded collide with each other, thus generating even more garbage. A good example is the case of Russia that on November 15, 2021 launched a missile against one of its old satellites and the fragments were hurled from the International Space Station, hurting the astronauts. Are you prepared to refute?
Yes, of course. Robots can break easily, but are simple to fix, and they notice when something goes wrong. There are a lot of shops where your robot can be fixed. While metal and carbon fiber are used to construct these robots and their replacement, experts are in two minds about which one is better, as carbon fiber is a much lighter material than metal. Therefore, it is more commonly used. But on the other hand, metal is much harder than carbon fiber, and machines made out of this material last much longer. Robot spare parts are easy to find in stores or on the internet, and they are quite cheap. But we have to be careful as sometimes they cannot be swapped out with other robots, and if we get mistaken, we will have to return them. Now David will speak about other myths of the robots like the problem of the job and the contamination.
It's a fact that in the most advanced countries, robots are arriving at the market, and company owners are buying more and more machines. Maybe you have already thought, why should I accept robots if they take my job away? The answer to this question is simple. A robot cannot think by itself. They can take decisions, so they can't occupy all the jobs in an enterprise. EIB scientist Enzo Weber explains in a statement collected by Business Insider in Germany that in many professions productivity has increased thanks to automation, which has in turn increased revenues and more professionals can be hired. This phenomenon explains why the most industrialized countries like Germany, Japan or United States have the lowest unemployment rates in the world. And if the professional rates increase, also their salary will increase. It is all good news. Many people say that robots are not good for the environment because they use non-renewable energies, but this is only a provisional step. Mankind is changing. You only need to read a newspaper. It is said that in 2040 people won't use diesel cars, that more people will trust nuclear energy, and that maybe in a couple of generations people will forget about using coal or oil. We are closer than ever to using renewable energy, and more robots won't be an exception. We will be able to take advantage of solar, nuclear, or hydraulic energy for usage of robots. Oscar, is it possible that they present problems in its programming?
Yes, but if a robot has any coding failure, it is the programmer's fault, which is a person. It's not the robot's fault. In addition, robots must be checked by a person, who must quickly detect if something is not working well. Adequate maintenance of robots is necessary. The owner of the other team has also said something about hackers. That's why robots must have security measures, so that they can bring benefits to people, facilitating our activities. Cyberattacks can affect both of the robot's software and hardware. Hackers can intentionally misuse the robots to harm business and families. Robots usually have a long life. For this reason, they must have security systems from the manufacturer, and these systems should be prepared to be updated frequently, so that they can be prepared for the constant evolution and cyber attacks. There are antivirus for robots. For example, the Spanish company Alia Robotics manufactures these viruses that give protection to robots, so that they cannot be hacked and cannot harm the environment and the people around them. This company has great experience in cybersecurity and continues studying the evolution of these viruses. Sarah, will robots make us lazy people?
It's obvious that robots make our lives easier, so they are good for our society. So that's everything in balance. If we allow machines to do everything for us, we'll end up doing nothing, only eating and getting fat. We need to burn calories and feel useful. There is a troubling increase in obesity in our society, and it may be due to the lack of exercise. Unbelievable but true. As things don't last forever, robots are no exception, and they break. When they break down, two problems arise: time and money. It may cost a lot of time to get a spare part to fix the machine, due to several reasons. Maybe there is no stock, so you have to wait for it to be made or brought. Let's say from China, Poland, or elsewhere. This is something really familiar to us, as we have suffered a stockout situation due to the pandemic. The world ran out of several devices such as mobile phones, chips for cars, web cameras, etc. In addition, these replacements became very expensive because there was a lack of supply and an excessive demand. This is a current huge problem for industries, factories, and stores. A high amount of money is needed to solve the problems of not having spare parts for their robots under production. As a consequence, some small companies have been forced to close down as a result of bankruptcy. What about people who can't work because of our dependency on robots?
Robots produce an important increase in unemployment. Many people are looking for a place to work in, and if robots work for us, it's alright. Third, if they work instead of us becomes a problem, and that's what's happening currently. An economic crisis isn't due to the uses of machines instead of human beings in factories, restaurants, and so on. Robots are cooks, doctors, builders, cleaners, but what about the people who don't work? But the ones that don't work, because they don't find a job, not the ones who do not want to work. Sometimes workers cannot work because there is a robot that has replaced them. Robots can help us, and that's naturally good, but they can't do what a person does. Not all robots are fast. Depending on the machine, there are faster ones than others. But the fastest robots can get damaged, get wet, and stop working or be hacked. This is a big problem, and as it may sound, occasionally when something goes wrong, they can correct their own functioning. They must be taken to a mechanic to be fixed. That this is a waste of time, because while it is not working, it would be too expensive to replace the whole robot. So their work remains undone until they are mended. Can we trust the information provided by robots?
Although it's true that robots provide you with information, that information is not always 100% truthful. As my friends have said, this cannot make people become lazy. Another problem is that sometimes our personal information can be leaked or someone can access our data in an easy and simple way. And this can generate many problems, as it happened in 2021 with Instagram, Facebook, and WhatsApp. In those hours, at least 500,000 incidents were recorded. As I have said before, robots generate a lot of pollution, but even if we use the ones that work with renewable energy, their production is still a big pollution problem. Recent research by Oxford University has confirmed that by 2025, space debris is expected to be considered another global pollution problem. Who is in favor, please raise your hand. Now, who is against?
The team who was against won.
Well done, people. Muy bien hecho. Ahora, octavos, os da un detalle por haber participado y haber trabajado tanto, ¿vale? Entonces, bueno, pues un libro para que sigáis mejorando vuestro inglés con audio.
Thank you.
Gracias, chicos.
Nos levantamos.
Nos levantamos. Sí, sí, no.